Also warned the actions of the perpetrators risk damaging the significant work done in the Canberra community. Auntie Carolyn Hughes is a Ngunnawal elder custodian of Canberra and joins me from the nation's capital. Yuma, good morning. Welcome to Weekend Breakfast.
Yuma, good morning.
Firstly, how do you react
to... Happy New Year.
Well, indeed, Happy New Year to you too. How do you react to the actions in front of Old Parliament House this week?
One of the things with Old Parliament House, it does represent some of the terrible atrocities that have occurred for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people since non-Indigenous people have arrived on this country. However, to see the building burning was a disappointment. I believe very strongly in peaceful protests. However, because protests have been the process of change across all societies since beginning of time, and peaceful protests, as we know, help make those changes. So to see the burning building was a disappointment.
And we've seen a statement from the Tent Embassy distancing themselves from those that were involved, and other community leaders also, like you're doing, calling out this behaviour. Do you have any sense of just who was behind this?
No, I've no idea who was behind it. They were rogue individuals. What I'm hearing is that the anti-vax campaign had taken hostage of peaceful protests, which is very disappointing, particularly as we understand the impact of COVID on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities and what that damage can do for them individually.
And there were some comments that the fire started from a smoking ceremony. I wonder if you can explain to those that aren't aware of the specific cultural protocols around a smoking ceremony.
As you're aware, Dan, smoking ceremonies are a ceremonial practice that have been part of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander society since beginning of time. It is a ancient and very spiritual practice that is important to our communities. Important in that not only is it's not just walking through smoke. It's about healing. It's about spiritual protection, and should be used in the spirit of intent of what the smoking ceremony is about.
And typically with smoking ceremonies, you would get permission from the elders. That's the protocol, isn't it?
That's right.
Did that happen
right.
here?
So you'd have permission from. Well, we know that. I'm not sure who lit the fire. I believe the police are doing an investigation into who actually lit the fire and what the purpose was. But we need to have common sense, and building a fire so close to the doors of a building, we understand that there are smoke detectors in most buildings, including homes. So some common sense, I would believe, would be one of the important things that people. Smoking ceremonies aren't done on the spur of the moment. It's something that is deeply spiritual and healing. And so, doing it on that property was it was wrong. It should have been done with more clarity and with the spirit of intent. Canberra itself is, the word itself means meeting place. And meeting place isn't just coming together and sitting down and talking. It's about deep listening and caring for each other.
You've done a huge amount of work in the community in a number of different representative capacities of bringing people together, explaining the Ngunnawal story and sharing that more broadly with other Australians. Do you have broader concerns about what the impacts of this fire and this particular protest could be?
Look, I think it's hijacked a lot of the truth telling for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We know that in that truth telling, we want the everyday Australian to understand that we too are Australians in our own country, and yet we are one of the most highly marginalised people here in Australia, and we need our voices heard. We need the everyday Australian to be looking to us and working with us, not just being part of destruction of property. We are much more than that.
Auntie Carolyn Hughes, thanks so much for joining us on Weekend Breakfast. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, and appreciate the time as well.